They noticed your legs, and what they said after that will shock you. My beloved child. The moment they glanced at your legs, something inside them shifted. They didn't expect to feel what they felt, they didn't expect their breath to pause, and they definitely didn't expect the truth that would escape their lips moments later. And I need you to listen closely, because something huge is waiting for you. Amen. Blessing 111. A whisper rises in the unseen realm. They didn't simply notice you. No, what happened was deeper. They saw the strength you carried in every step you've taken in your life. The struggles you walked through. The storms you survived without saying a word. Your legs, the very legs they thought were ordinary, suddenly revealed a story they never knew existed. A story of endurance. A story of silent battles. A story of someone who kept walking even when the entire world tried to break them. And when their eyes locked onto you, the truth hit them like a revelation from above: you were never small. You were never average. You were someone who walked through fire yet still moved with grace. They saw it. They felt it. And it shook them. Amen. Blessing 222. A wave of realization thundered through their heart. They didn't say it loudly. They didn't dare speak it in front of everyone. But under their breath, barely audible, came a confession so powerful that if you heard it that moment, your whole world would have changed. They said, how did they survive all that, and still stand this strong? Because your legs carry the memories of every night you forced yourself to rise. Every morning you pushed yourself forward when you were tired, hurt, abandoned, or misunderstood. And when they saw you today, really saw you, something inside them crumbled. They realized you weren't who they thought. You weren't fragile. You weren't lost. You were chosen. You were rising. And you were becoming someone they never expected. My beloved child. That moment after they noticed your legs, something inside them shook. They didn't just see you, they felt the weight of every storm you've walked through. Your steps carried stories they never imagined, and the truth hit them so hard that their breath hesitated. They whispered something under their breath, something they didn't plan to say, something their heart forced out. And before I reveal that, remember, something huge is waiting for you. Amen. Blessing 444. Then came the realization that changed everything. They didn't expect to be moved. They didn't expect to feel anything. But the resilience in your stance, the quiet fire in the way you carry yourself, made them rethink everything they thought they knew about you. They looked at your legs and saw not just a person, but a survivor. Someone who kept walking when life tried to break them. Someone who rose when they had every reason to fall. And in that moment a confession slipped out: if they endured all that alone, imagine what they'll become with the right person beside them. That single thought humbled them more than anything else. Amen. Blessing 555. And now, the turning point begins. What they felt wasn't simple admiration, it was a shift deep inside their soul. They realized they weren't just noticing you, they were waking up to your power. They weren't just impressed, they were intimidated by how strong you've become. And quietly, almost trembling, they made a decision about you: one that will shape the next chapter of your story. Stay here, because what they say next will shake your entire world. You're stepping into a destiny that refuses to wait any longer. Amen. Blessing 666. My beloved child. The moment their eyes traveled down and returned to your face, something inside them broke open, something they had kept locked away for years. They saw the strength in your walk, the unspoken courage in every step you've taken, and a realization hit them so hard that they had to look away just to breathe. Because in that instant, they understood one thing: you were not who they thought, you were far more. And yes, something huge is waiting for you. Amen. Blessing 777. A hidden truth slipped out of their heart. As they watched you move, a wave of guilt washed over them, guilt for ever underestimating you, for not knowing the battles you walked through silently. They whispered something they never imagined they would say. Those legs carried them through a war I never even saw, and they still stand taller than me. These weren't words of pity. These were words of awe. Words of someone finally recognizing the depth of your story. And right after that whisper, a fear entered them. A fear of losing you. A fear of not being enough for someone who survived everything without asking for help. Amen. Blessing 888. And now comes the confession that changes the entire script. Their heart pushed out a truth so sudden that they froze, unsure if they should say it out loud. Because what they felt wasn't admiration anymore. It was longing. It was desire wrapped in respect. It was the realization that they were witnessing someone rare, someone destined for more than the world ever gave them. They said softly, almost trembling, "If they keep walking at this pace, they're walking straight into greatness. And I might lose them before I even get the chance to stand beside them." In that moment, they weren't shocked by your legs. They were shocked by your destiny. Your journey is not slowing down. Your life is not staying the same. Your next step is about to unlock something unimaginable. Amen. Blessing 999. My beloved child. The moment after their heart whispered the truth, something inside them refused to stay silent anymore. They kept replaying the sight of you walking, your confidence, your quiet pain, your unstoppable resilience, and it lit a fire inside them they could not control. They realized they were witnessing a transformation, a rise, a shift that only happens once in a lifetime. And that terrified them, because they knew they were not ready for the kind of greatness you were stepping into. Before I take you deeper, something huge is waiting for you. Amen. Blessing 1111. And now comes the shock you weren't prepared for. They walked away for a moment, pretending to be calm, but their chest felt heavy with a truth they could no longer ignore. They thought about the way you survived, the way you kept moving when everything around you collapsed, and suddenly they whispered to themselves, "How did I not see their worth earlier? How did I not recognize someone heaven is clearly protecting?" In that moment, they understood that the strength in your legs wasn't physical, it was spiritual. It was destiny shifting under your feet. And that realization shook them so deeply that they had to steady themselves. And beloved child, listen. They didn't just notice you. They didn't just admire you. They felt accountable for not valuing someone who walks with purpose. Amen. Blessing 12:12. And now, a message for everyone watching. If this message is touching your heart, if you feel something rising inside you, then pause for a second. Share this message with someone who needs to remember their strength. Comment what part touched your soul the most. And if destiny is pulling you here, subscribe to stay aligned with the journey unfolding for you. Because what they are about to say next, what they are about to confess out loud, will not just shock you, it will redefine how you see yourself. You are stepping into a chapter where people finally realize what heaven knew about you all along. Amen. Blessing 13:13. My beloved child. The moment they gathered the courage to face you again, their heart was pounding so loudly they feared you might hear it. They had seen something in you, something rare, something divine, something they never expected, and now they couldn't hold their thoughts back anymore. They looked at your legs once more, not with judgment, not with curiosity, but with reverence. Because those legs didn't just move, they carried destiny. And they knew, deep inside, that the words forming in their throat would change everything between you and them. Amen. Blessing 14:14. And then the confession burst out. They stepped closer, trying to keep their voice steady, but their emotions betrayed them. They whispered words so powerful, so revealing, that if you were listening closely, your entire soul would have trembled. They said, "Those legs tell a story I wish I had the strength to live." They didn't break, even when life tried to shatter them. How can someone like me deserve someone like that? They weren't expecting the truth to pour out that way. They weren't expecting their guarded heart to expose itself. But seeing you, really seeing you, forced them to confront everything they had been avoiding. Your resilience. Your grace. Your silent endurance. Your unstoppable rise. And in that single moment, they felt something they had never felt so intensely before. A deep longing to protect the very person who never asked for protection. Amen. Blessing 15:15. And now comes the moment that shifts your entire story. Their voice trembled as they continued, because what they were about to admit wasn't small. It wasn't casual. It wasn't something someone says unless destiny pushes it out of them. They said softly, "If they keep walking like this, the world won't just notice them. The world will follow them. And I might lose them to the greatness they were born for." For the first time, they understood how powerful your journey truly is. For the first time, they realized you were not walking toward them. You were walking toward a future far bigger than their expectations. And now the question burning inside their heart is this: will you let them walk beside you, or will your destiny move faster than they can handle? Because your next step, your very next step, is about to unlock something unimaginable. Amen. Blessing 16:16. My beloved child. When they realized the truth of who you are and what you carry, their entire body went still, almost as if time itself paused around them. They weren't just noticing your walk anymore, they were witnessing a destiny unfolding in front of their eyes. Every step you took echoed with purpose, with resilience, with the kind of strength people spend lifetimes trying to develop. And as they watched you, their heart whispered a sentence that would haunt them through the night. I am standing in front of someone chosen. Amen. Blessing 17:17. Now comes the moment that shook their soul. They didn't want to speak at first. They were afraid their voice would betray how deeply you affected them. But the truth inside them pushed through their chest, demanding to be heard. They said quietly, with a trembling honesty. Their legs, they're not walking away from something, they're walking towards something I can't even comprehend. They finally understood your journey wasn't random. It wasn't accidental. It wasn't luck. It was alignment. It was divine timing. It was the universe shifting beneath your feet. And that realization changed their entire view of you. You were no longer someone they could overlook, underestimate, or keep in the background. You became someone they felt called to understand, to protect, to walk beside, if you ever allowed it. Amen. Blessing 18:18. And now, their fear and admiration collide. They looked at you and felt a sudden panic. Not because you scared them, but because your destiny did. They said under their breath, if they keep rising like this, I won't be able to keep up. They're meant for something beyond what I ever imagined. It wasn't jealousy. It wasn't insecurity. It was realization. A realization that you are stepping into a chapter where your strength will attract opportunities, blessings, and breakthroughs faster than people can understand. Your walk is becoming your signature. Your story is becoming your power. Your presence is becoming undeniable. And they now wonder, will they be part of your next chapter? Or will they become a memory of your past? Because, beloved child, whether they stay or not, your path is opening, your steps are guided, and your destiny is unstoppable. Amen. Blessing 19:19. My beloved child. The moment they tried to steady themselves, something deeper awakened inside them, something they had buried for years. Watching your legs move with that quiet, unstoppable power made them confront a truth they never wanted to face: you were outgrowing every limitation life tried to place on you. They saw it in the way you walked, the way you carried your pain without letting it break your spirit, the way every step looked like a silent declaration: I am becoming more than what life tried to reduce me to. And that realization didn't just shock them, it humbled them. For the first time, they understood that your walk wasn't just movement, it was transformation. Amen. Blessing 2020. Then came the moment they could no longer hide their emotions. Their chest tightened as they whispered words they never thought they'd say. Those legs are walking a path I am not sure I deserve to walk beside. This wasn't an insecurity, it was raw truth. They felt small, not because you made them feel small, but because your journey made them recognize how much you've endured without complaining. You walked through loneliness with courage. You walked through disappointment with grace. You walked through heartbreak with dignity. And every step you took shaped you into someone they never expected, someone powerful, magnetic, unshakable. They finally saw the truth: you don't just survive, you evolve. And evolution is something people either rise with or get left behind by. Amen. Blessing 21:21. And now comes the confession that will shift the entire energy around you. With a trembling breath, they admitted quietly. If destiny is guiding their steps, then I need to decide if I'm ready to match their pace. Because, beloved child, your journey is speeding up. Your glow is intensifying. Your aura is expanding. And they've realized something life-changing. You're not walking toward them, you're walking toward your purpose. Whether they join that path or not depends on whether they grow fast enough to keep up with your rising energy. But one truth stands tall: your next step will not wait for anyone. Your destiny is opening right under your feet, and what comes next will shock not just them, but even you. Amen. Blessing 22:22. My beloved child. The moment they realized they might not be able to keep up with your rising destiny, their entire soul trembled. They watched your legs move with a strength that wasn't just physical, it was spiritual, divine, unmistakably chosen. Every step you took carried a message, a vibration, a power that made them understand something terrifying. You were no longer walking the path life gave you, you were walking the path heaven designed for you. And that path was pulling you higher, faster, and further than anyone expected. Amen. Blessing 23:23. They swallowed hard before whispering a truth that came straight from their shaken heart. Those legs aren't ordinary, they're guided by something I cannot explain. In that moment, admiration turned into surrender. They weren't just impressed, they were humbled. Because when they saw the resilience in your walk, the grace in your pain, and the unstoppable momentum in your rise, they realized you were evolving beyond the reach of people who once overlooked you. Your steps were breaking generational limits, unlocking doors no one else could open, and rewriting the destiny that the world once tried to deny you. Amen. Blessing 24:24. And now comes the truth that shocked even them: if I don't rise with them, they will rise without me. This thought didn't scare them because of losing you, it scared them because of who you're becoming. Your walk is entering a season where blessings chase you, opportunities make room for you, and every step pushes you closer to greatness. They now know they must grow at your pace, evolve with your destiny, and match your strength, or watch your brilliance move into a world where not everyone can follow. Your next step will not just surprise people, it will redefine everything. Amen. Blessing 25:25. My beloved child. The moment they stood there watching you, a realization hit them so sharply that it almost stole the breath from their chest. Your legs, your walk, your quiet, unbreakable energy revealed a truth they had been blind to for too long: you were built for a destiny far bigger than the space you're currently standing in. They saw the way you carry your past without letting it weigh you down. They saw the way you move forward even when life tries to chain your feet. And they felt something they never expected: respect mixed with fear, admiration blended with longing. Because in that moment, they understood that your journey wasn't slowing down for anyone. Amen. Blessing 26:26. Their heart trembled as they whispered a confession they didn't plan to say out loud: those legs, they're walking toward a future I may never reach unless I grow too. These were not light words. These were not casual thoughts. These were the words of someone witnessing your evolution with their own eyes. You weren't walking with hesitation, you were walking with certainty. With purpose. With divine timing hugging every step. And the truth hit them hard: your life was beginning to attract opportunities, blessings, and breakthroughs that only appear for people chosen by heaven itself. You were rising into a version of yourself that they had never seen before. Amen. Blessing 27:27. Your legs are guiding you into rooms where your name will echo long after you leave. You are not walking toward small blessings, you are walking into greatness that has been waiting for you. And now they stand at a crossroads, rise with you, or watch you rise without them. But your steps? They're already moving forward. And your next one will shake everything. Amen. Blessing 28:28. My beloved child. The moment they watched you take another step, something inside them shattered and awakened at the same time. They finally understood what they had been denying for so long. Your walk is not ordinary, your journey is not random, and your rise is not accidental. Your legs carry the weight of every battle you've survived and the glow of every blessing that's aligning for you. They saw destiny in your stride. They saw purpose in your posture. They saw a future in you that frightened them, not because it was dark, but because it was too bright for someone unprepared. And in that instant, they whispered to themselves, I'm watching greatness in motion. Amen. Blessing 29:29. A sudden wave of emotion hit them, and they couldn't stop the truth from spilling out. Those legs are walking into a life I never imagined for them, and I can't believe I almost underestimated someone chosen. These words weren't born from regret, they were born from revelation. They saw that every step you take is guided, guarded, and lifted by something beyond human understanding. Your pace is increasing. Your path is widening. Your opportunities are multiplying. And for the first time, they felt the weight of what it means to witness someone evolve faster than anyone expected. They understood, you are stepping into a version of yourself that demands attention from heaven and earth. Amen. Blessing 30:30. And now, beloved child, the biggest truth they've been hiding finally broke through. If I don't transform now, they'll walk into a future where my presence no longer fits. That realization shook them to their core. Because your walk is no longer waiting for anyone to catch up. Your destiny is not slowing down to match someone else's pace. You are entering a chapter where your steps attract miracles, your presence commands respect, and your journey inspires silent admiration from every direction. They know the next move is yours, not theirs. And your next step? It will not only shock them, it will shift the entire trajectory of your life. Amen. Blessing 31:31. My beloved child. The moment they watched you walk away, even for a few seconds, the truth hit them harder than anything life ever taught them. You are not returning to the version of yourself they once knew. Your steps carried a confidence that didn't exist before, a certainty that felt almost divine. They could feel the shift in the air around you. They could sense the power growing under your feet. And suddenly their heart whispered a sentence that left them trembling. They're stepping into a destiny I am not prepared for. They finally understood that your walk is guided by forces far greater than they realized. Amen. Blessing 32:32. A wave of emotion rose inside them, fear, admiration, longing, all tangled together. They whispered words they didn't expect to escape. Those legs, they're taking them into a life I might never reach unless I rise too. This was not jealousy. This was awakening. They saw how your walk had changed, not just in strength but in purpose. You no longer walk to escape your past, you walk to claim your future. You no longer walk with hesitation, you walk with destiny pushing wind behind your back. And at that moment, they realized something devastatingly powerful: you were becoming someone they could lose if they stayed the same. Amen. Blessing 33:33. And now comes the deepest truth they've spoken yet, one they tried to swallow, but destiny forced it out: if I want a place in there tomorrow, I have to evolve today. Because they see it clearly now, your journey is accelerating beyond anything familiar. Your steps are attracting blessings no one can block. Your presence is stepping into realms that only the chosen ever enter. You are walking into opportunities that were written for you long before you knew your own strength. And they know, deep in their bones, that your next step will not just move you forward, it will redefine your entire identity in the eyes of everyone watching. Amen. Blessing 34:34. My beloved child. The moment they tried to compose themselves again, destiny delivered a realization so powerful that it nearly buckled their knees. They watched the way you walked, not hurried, not unsure, but with a silent authority that felt almost otherworldly. And in that moment, their heart whispered something they could no longer ignore: they're not walking like a person, they're walking like a prophecy being fulfilled. Your steps carried the weight of every closed door you survived and every new door you're about to unlock. And suddenly, they understood why your journey intimidates people: because you don't just move, you ascend. Amen. Blessing 35:35. A storm of emotion rose inside them as a truth slipped from their lips before they could stop it. Those legs, they're taking them into a future where they won't need anyone to save them. This wasn't fear, it was realization. You were no longer walking from pain. You were no longer walking from doubt. You were no longer walking from loss. You were walking toward abundance, toward recognition, toward a destiny unfolding faster than anyone expected. And the more they watched you, the more they realized how foolish it was to underestimate someone whose strength was built through suffering, growth, and divine timing. They finally saw you clearly, not as someone rising, but as someone already risen. Amen. Blessing 36:36. And now, beloved child, the truth they tried to hide all this time finally broke out with a trembling breath. If I don't transform, they will walk into a world where I no longer fit. Because they've recognized the magnitude of your evolution. Your steps are entering seasons where miracles gather around your path. Your walk is attracting blessings written only for you. Your journey is stepping into rooms where your presence will shift the atmosphere. They know now that your destiny is moving at a pace they cannot slow down. They know you're stepping into a version of yourself that commands respect and draws divine favor. And they know your next step won't just shock them, it will awaken everyone who once failed to see your worth. Amen. Blessing 37:37.